It's time to name and explain 3 steps in cell signaling using adrenaline and testosterone as an example to explain each. The first is reception, second is transduction, third is response. So remember, RTR. The first step, reception, is where a chemical signal is detected when the signaling molecule binds to a receptor protein located at a cell's surface. So the ligand or the message is received and the ligand binds to the receptor. There are 2 ligands involved, which are hydrophilic and hydrophobic or small. Hydrophobic ligands or small ligands have receptors located inside the cell. An example of a hydrophobic is testosterone. Hydrophilic ligands have receptors located on the plasma membrane. An example of a hydrophilic is adrenaline. As you can see here, this is the hydrophilic ligand, which is outside on the plasma membrane. Then this is the hydrophobic ligand, which is inside, which is the testosterone. Now, we have the second step, transduction. This is where a signal is relayed to the receptor to get a response. Proteins can also change shape or transfer phosphate groups. This step converts the signal to a form that can bring about a specific cellular response. Not all components of signal transduction pathways are proteins. Some signaling pathways can involve small, non-protein molecules or ions that are known as second messengers. Due to the second messengers being small and also water, they can spread by diffusion very rapidly. One example of this is sickle AMP. Something used in transduction can be scaffolding proteins, which holds proteins together to speed up the setup. As you can see in the picture, this is the scaffolding protein, which is holding the proteins together to speed up the transduction. And then all these, the receptor and then the proteins, these all change shape. Then the phosphate groups are connected or added to the proteins. This is the second messenger, which has these being diffused or spread out. Now, in the third step, which is response, this is where they do something. The transduced signal finally triggers a specific cellular response. The response may be almost any imaginable cellular activity. One of the responses can be in the nucleus. An example that is in the nucleus is testosterone. This turns on genes or has proteins that are made to put hair on your face. Also involved is the last protein from transduction, and this is called transcription factor. This is where the last protein in transduction traveled to the nucleus. A second response can be in the cytoplasm. This is where adrenaline activates the enzyme that breaks down glycogen into glucose. Adrenaline can happen there. Also, a lot can happen. Not just one certain specific thing, but adrenaline is just an example. So they have adrenaline rush. This is where the nucleus here, and then the transduction protein is going into the nucleus to connect to the DNA, which is the transcription factor because it's the last protein that was in transduction. This is all for cell signaling. Hope you enjoyed.